Hi crafters, and welcome to Creative Moments by G. I'm G, and so happy that you're with us today. We are going to be discussing vellum and all the wonderful uniqueness that it has and that it can offer to your handmade cards. So let's head down to the crafting table and let's get busy. Now, this is what vellum looks like. And you know, it's a very strong material, but even though it's strong, it looks delicate, right? And it adds that elegance to your card that you really like. And the other aspect that we like that we're going to share with you today is that it's opaque. So you can still see through it, but it mutes the background. So for instance, this is a very strong background, but if you put some vellum over it, it softens it up. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to create a beautiful background, and then we're going to put some vellum on the front for that added interest, elegance, and to mute the background. These are the stamp sets that we're going to be using on our first card. We're going to use this Enduring Beauty, and we're going to use this stamp, this beautiful flower stamp. Now, you can use any stamp that you have to create your background. We're just going to use some flowers. We're also using our hello that we have from this stamp set called Layering Leaves, and then this adorable little line here from Cake Fancy. Now, in terms of the blends, we're using our Poppy Parade and our Old Olive for our leaves. We're going to be stamping with our Misty Moonlight, so let's do that. We're taking a top fold card, and we know that that is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. But I want to remind you, all the measurements and the supplies will be listed over on our website under My Blog. Now, because I'm going to be stamping off, I want to go ahead and bring in a piece of paper. I'm going to put, this is the front panel to our card, and I am just taking some sticky notes, and I'm going to put it right here on the edge of the card so that I don't stamp past that. So that's another great tip for you. Just use your sticky notes to do that. I'm going to bring in my large stamp right here. I'm going to ink it up. And when I have a large stamp, I go ahead and I take my ink pad to the actual stamp instead of the other way around. So I'm just going to line this up and stamp about right here. And hold it down and let the ink transfer. Oh, look at that beautiful stamp. Now, I just want a little bit of it right here in the corner. So since I want just a little bit, I'm just going to ink up that corner. Bring that in. I'm creating that beautiful background that I told you about. Now we need just a little bit down here and some over here. Okay, and then just a little bit right there. And now we have created our beautiful background. Look at that background. So pretty. Now, I took some vellum and I used a nesting rectangle, and this rectangle was 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Now, if you don't have a nesting rectangle that looks similar to this, then all you have to do is take your vellum sheet and go ahead and cut it whatever size you want. We just wanted the 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Now that is going to go just right over, and you can already see how it just mutes whatever it's on top of. Look at that, just kind of mutes it. So you also know that when you're working with vellum, you can see glue if you put glue on it. But I know that I'm going to bring in some flowers for the bottom here and the top. So I can put a tape runner right here in the corner to go ahead and adhere it to the front of my card. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on catty corners. So here we go. We're just going to put a little bit of tape runner. I'm going to bring this in and just center it. Okay. And now what I did is I stamped this beautiful flower on a mat, and I went ahead and I used these beautiful blends to color it. And all I did was, let me show you what it looks like. I just grabbed my Poppy Parade and I grabbed the light and I just went over the entire flower. And now I came back in with the dark Poppy Parade, and I'm just going over some of those lines just to give it some depth. And look at that. Look at how pretty that is. Just gave it some depth to the flower. Now I did that throughout, and I came up with this beautifully colored arrangement. Now what I want to do is I want to cut this apart so that it matches where I want to put it, because I want to put it in these corners right here. And so I'm going to go ahead and cut this apart. So I have this one that I can just put right there, and that really adds to the beauty. It's almost like spotlighting, but we've colored those flowers, and now I need a large one right here. So just going to cut this out. And we will put this one right there. Now I'm going to put my hello right across here. Now I'm going to set these up on dimensionals. And make sure that you stay with us because I have 3 cards to show you. Now we're just going to cover this up right here. And let's see, I think I'll just put it like right there. And I'm going to cut off any excess. Bring this one back in. Just going to set it up. Now look at that. This vellum mutes this area right here. This is very bold. These colored flowers just create a spotlighting. It's so easy to do. And now all we need to do on the outside is to add our sentiment. Now I used those stamps that I told you about, and I stamped this little line with the bow. I stamped hello on top of it, and we're just going to add that right here. And we're going to set it up on some dimensionals. Adding this vellum just gives you that unique interest to the card, while it also mutes the background that you've stamped on the front of your card. So let's just put this right here. Now on the inside, let's go ahead and create a couple mats. I went ahead and I picked up the Poppy Parade. So we'll just use a tape runner. We can use a flower that we have left over, so we'll just cut it out. And add this right to the corner. Cut away any excess. Add this to the inside of our card. And look at this first card. This vellum right here just mutes this color. You can see how it just muted the middle part of the card. So easy to create, but using vellum can just really add some interest to your card. Now remember, this one was laid flat against the card. The next card that we make, we're going to raise it up so we can see the difference that it makes. Now on this second card, we're going to use citrus blooms, and we're also going to use the DSP. I'm going to show you how to take this card where we actually stamped the flowers, used our blends, and colored, to where now we're going to use pattern paper and some stamps, and that's it. So the first thing we want to do, we're using top folds, and so this is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. We are going to bring in our paper again, bring in our little sticky notes to cover up this area right here so that we don't go over the page. And I'm bringing in this beautiful orange right here. We're going to stamp it once again in Misty Moonlight because that's more of a muted blue. So I'm just going to ink that up, tap, tap, tap. We're going to put one right up here. Hold it for transfer. Look at that, so pretty. Just bring one in the middle. Now we're still working on our background. We're going to put one right down here. And we're going to bring in some small flowers that they have in that stamp set. Just to create a beautiful background. Okay, take off our sticky notes. And look at that. Look at how pretty that is. But we need our vellum. So we just took some vellum and we cut it 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. This time we are going to set it up on some dimensionals. Now, if you're using dimensionals with vellum, you want to make sure that they will be covered up. So we're going to put it right here in the corner, knowing that our oranges are going to cover this up. And then right here on this corner, let's take the backing off and lay it down on our card. Just going to lay it right down in the center, making sure that the margins from top to bottom, side to side, are even. And look at that. See how it mutes this area right here? Now we have taken this beautiful patterned paper and we have used the dies to cut out some of these oranges. Here are our oranges, and all we're going to do is raise this up on some dimensionals. Okay, and we're going to add this one right down there. We're going to cut off any excess. Just flip it over. That way it still fits in the A2 envelope. We have our beautiful hello once again cut. And we're just adding that right here. We have our map that we're going to add inside just to give it that added interest. Now, if you want to add an orange right here, but you've already put it on your mat, an easy way to fix that is just grab your sticky notes, go ahead and put that right over the orange mat on both sides, and you can bring in your ink pad and stamp right over it. Let me show you how to do that. And there you have it. And look at these two cards. Look at that vellum. That vellum is so delicate, and yet it really mutes the background and just adds that special touch. Take a moment and leave a comment. Of the two that we made today, which is your favorite? I don't know. I think this one is much easier because we use the pattern paper, but I absolutely love the colors of this. I also love that it's really like a spotletting technique. We created our background, we muted it with the vellum, and then we added a colored flower or orange on top that really made that pop. Now remember, I said I had several other ones to show you. Look at this beautiful one with the zinnias on it. So pretty. We added our vellum once again right there. Just mutes that whole area. We brought in some more flowers. Look at that. Here's our vellum right here. We colored, used our blends, colored our flowers, added an inside. And finally, look at this one. This is the same as our Poppy Parade, but we used Highland Heather for our flowers. Open it up. Let us know what you think about using vellum on your cards. It really just adds that special touch, the uniqueness, and makes the front of your card a little more delicate. Well, Monty and I hope that you liked the cards that we created today using vellum. We're going to do a series on a lot of different techniques using vellum, and we hope that you check those out. Well, go out, make it a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.